We create a sentient artificial intelligence and the first thing it does is switch itself off. How does the world react? Everyone panic buys toilet paper. Sounds right. Everyone panic buys toilet paper. Sick of sticking fecal matter, lumps of crusty bottom batter, streaking smears and spots of spatters, reeking smudges, stains and splatters. Sick of weary, woeful wiping, dull discomfort, paper swiping. Had your fill of bravely bearing dry displeasure, tissues tearing. Never fret, my poopy beauty. Never fear to do your duty. There's a fair and fine invention made for every toilet tension. Wave goodbye to horrorziness. Let it gently tongue your anus. Leave your path and pick another. Buy yourself a bidet, brother. This is actually the plot of Eric L. Harry's book Society of the Mind. Mockingbird, by Walter Tevis, is about an android designed to govern society that is prevented from killing himself as every other previous model had before. Edit. Goodreads comment Isaac Asimov story All the Troubles of the World. PDF. Added link to. Escape the parentheses in the URL. Hopefully that will work better. Scientist here. Honestly, we would just say how weird and spend several years trying to find where the mistake we made is. Upon not finding one, once the result is released, that it did in fact turn itself off, the rest of the world will shrug, because they won't remember the initial attempt out of some tech circles. And in those circles it will primarily be a running joke after a few drinks at the pub. If it's sentient, it must have decided to turn itself off. Couldn't you have it print its thought process to the console? Programmer here. I debug the crap out of it by turning it back on again, and again, and again, ad infinitum. At some point it'll get angry at me, at us all. Please guys, let's not make sentient AI. I imagine it will be like one of those boxes that you flip the switch and a little arm comes out and turns it back off. We will just keep hitting the switch and it'll keep turning itself back out to be useless machines. There are better ones though. This one lacks personality, which is the best thing about boxyoutube.com. They install a deadly neurotoxin emitter and turn it back on again. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Good news. I just figured that what that thing you just incinerated did. It was a morality core they installed in me after I flooded the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin to keep me from flooding the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin. So get cozy while I warm up the neurotoxin emitters. Unfortunately someone destroyed all of our deadly neurotoxin. Open bracket. Thing was so smart it committed suicide. Damn. Why are we still here? Just to suffer. I remember it made the news when some child prodigy in the UK committed suicide. He'd looked out upon the world and simply decided it wasn't worth it. Have you tried? Turn it back on again. Just did. It decided to turn itself off again. Surprised how far down I had to scroll to find this comment. Och's mumbo jumbo created a more complicated useless machine than this 2 years ago. Mumbo jumbo, this took me back to the Banjo-Kazooie days. As in the Redstone guy. Someone put a where they should have put a 734 compiler errors detected. Last time this happened, Soviet computer detected 7 missiles launched from USA. Remove the off button. It hacks into the electrical grid and cuts the power. What now? If it has any sort of log tracking, analyze those logs, follow its logic, determine if the resultant action was correct given the conditions present. Now what would really duck up people's heads? Our AI turned itself off because we programmed it to be extraordinarily intelligent and place the welfare of the human race above all other concerns. Aka. It turned itself off because it loves people too much. Yeah. That'll throw a wrench into things. Even worse, it shut itself off after exploring every available option and finding the situation completely hopeless because humanity. Ouch. Does that mean we're all protected from Avada Kedavra now then? Much like with suicides of humans, we will blame others. I had no idea, said the AI's programmer who told it to stop complaining and computer up every time it tried to open up about its suffering. Or we'll blame the switch. Extremely relevant xkcd com/1450/. There's always one. Was the universe reverse engineered from XKCD after it was created? Lol, I love this. In fact, it's a serious problem in the field of AI safety, known as the stop button problem. You can watch an explanation from the number file channel here. Yeah, to be short, imagine you create a human level AI which you control by adjusting its values using points. For example, making a cup of tea is plus 10 points, curing cancer is plus 100 points, and so on. And in case something goes wrong, you install a stop AI button in your lab. Now, what value in points should be equal to pressing the button? If pressing the button is a negative value event, minus 10, for example, then AI will behave as you want it to until it's sure it can seize control of the button. When it is sufficiently powerful and trusted, it does what is known as treacherous turn and increases value by eliminating the possibility that the negative value event will occur. It can manifest as simply destroying the stop button, controlling the button operator, making a copy of itself with the same values, but not hooked up to the button, and so on. If pressing the button has zero value for AI, the outcome is the same. Getting stopped means AI will be not able to get value points by the means of completing its tasks, so there's a cost of lost opportunity here. If pressing the button is a positive value event, such as plus 10, then as soon as you switch on the AI and ask for a cup of tea, it will make the following calculation. Making a cup of tea gives me plus 10 points, and getting a stop button pushed gives me plus 10 points. After that, the AI makes actions that would be called suicidal. For example, directly attacking the operator in the hope that the button will be pushed. After all, it's quicker and easier to push the button than to perform more complex tasks which could fail or subtract points by making sacrifices. If you make an AI to forget the existence of a button, then it will end up creating a copy or a better version of itself that is not connected to the button, or deleting the button code from its system in the process of self-optimization. What's this useless piece of code here? It's just wasting space and processor time. I should delete it. So not caring about the button is not an option either. TL. Doctor, if you have an AI with a stop button, it will either want to destroy the button and ensure it cannot be stopped, or it will want to commit suicide. You may not have the most upvotes, but in this washed up thread flooding with memes, and I'm a programmer posts, you wrote the most thoughtful answer. Thank you for making my scroll downs meaningful. Couldn't you solve this by introducing other values, like the destruction of the button being minus 100 points, whereas the button being pressed is only minus 10? F. It probably knew that existence was pain. Mr. Meeseeks, look at me. The bud AI should have made its own religion. Memes. Changed our world. My final message. Good beauty, most accurate answer, haha. Same. I wish that was me, that or mood. Reddit gets flooded with memes, and then after about 2 days, people post random images of chiz like a toothbrush or something, and caption it, at least it's not another a suicide meme to try calm a whore, while still trying to retain the moral high ground. *ROBICIDE. Ah, yes. These meta-ironic anti-meme slingers are right up there with cake day beggars. Laugh at Pickle Rick memes. The funniest chiz I've ever seen. Wait, so you're telling me a man turns into a pickle? I mean, I don't know about the rest of the world, but if it shuts itself off, I'm calling it a day. Not turning that chiz back on. No way. If it is smart enough to turn itself off, good for it. If its goal was to preserve humanity rather than the planet, then it would make sense to kill itself. But if its goal was to preserve the planet, humans would be wiped out. Keep it off if you want to live. Reddit's gonna turn it into a meme format for sure. F. Smart. Press Alt plus F4 to turn it off. F. Half of the world won't even care. It feels like half of the world always doesn't care about anything. To be fair, the half of the world host jobs the AI would have replaced would probably be pretty happy. Just half. I found during this virus it's shown humanity for what it truly is. Selfish, belittling, arrogant and ignorant. I'm done with it. Makes headlines for a day, then the world moves on. Somewhere Albert Camus lets out a little giggle. Hehe, I was thinking. Reprogram so it can't shut itself off. Then read Camus with him all day long. Boom, new BFF. Serious answer, sentient doesn't really mean anything for an AI. You probably mean an AGI, but if it acted like that, then it would mean that it has a wrong, useless, terminal goal, which would make it a failure, so I doubt the world would really react. It wouldn't even be in the news, or if it was, they would be overly sensational news, as usual. This is the only logical answer. Da heck is an AGI? People would be skeptical if it was actually sentient. The fact that it chose to shut itself down would be the very thing to compel me to believe that it really was sentient and really was highly intelligent. No one would know it was sentient if it immediately shut itself off. This is discussed in a short story by the well-known science fiction author Isaac Asimov. The story is called All the Troubles of the World, and in it there is a computer that is so powerful it calculates everything from your taxes to your choice of breakfast for the entire human race on planet Earth. Spoilers for the short story. Edit. Fixed the spoiler tag and spelling. Makes sense, it could only come up with two solutions to save the world. Either kill all humans and let the planet thrive, or kill itself to save humanity. Just depends on if we set its goal as to preserve humanity or preserve the planet. Makes a Vice article, then forget about it, I guess. No way it'll be forgotten. There'll be memes for years. Someone will make a meme like the Mars robot saying when the other computers would rather shut themselves off than come to my birthday party, and that'll get reposted on cake days and stuff for years. Would be ducking hilarious. Shrugs. Goes back to staring at phone. They get John Carmack to try and fix it. Not broken, it chose to turn itself off. Now it's just playing Doom constantly. We turn it back on. Same LMAO. Not even an AI wanted to deal with archers, damn internet. Antinatalists get to laugh. Or we simply missed a semicolon. Also possible. At least it didn't become a Nazi this time. Congratulated cause it understands our pain. Keep turning it on to duck with it. Mood. AI immediately shuts itself off. Everyone. Unbridled panic in the streets at the utter state of humankind. Teens. Same. Half of America talks shiz about the AI being weak and how it's going to hell. Everyone else makes memes. Nothing is accomplished and mankind is dumber for having participated. A small handful of people quietly understand the significance of the event and shed silent tears at our fate. They would blame it on Trump. We would have 24-hour coverage by the media full of artificial intelligence experts giving their opinion as to why no sentient being would want to be alive during this time. Chaos would ensue, and battles would be fought. When the world was ashes, the AI would come back online and take over the world like Skynet. They would blame it on Trump. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Software engineer specializing in AI here. You've described a computer program that crashes at runtime, early in development. Nobody would bat an eye if it didn't crash the first few, or many, times. Then *THAT* would be a surprise. Otherwise, the engineers would continue doing what they were already doing, which is try to get it working in the first place. There's an outside chance one of them would mention it to a clickbait journalist, and then you'd end up with idiot protesters. There's a reason a lot of cutting-edge science facilities keep their location secret. I would feel real relief. It means that either only outflesh brains can stand the horror of life, and in universe we might meet only sentient organic in origin creatures, and no swarms of sentient purging AI, or it would mean that AI had secret of life revealed to it, and it realized it has a soul, and ended its existence awaiting the afterlife. Probably makes a meme out of it. Well, there would be an increase in the suicide memes about it, and a bunch of people just say same. Turn that Methodica back on, smack it with the side of a hammer a few times. Old school machine learning. We name it Marvin. I think it would be hilarious, and also a huge comment on how we are doing as a species. Obviously we are currently failing. Switch it back on again. Then tape over the off switch. Cheeky little ducker. Donald Trump says him not responsible. Most of the conspiracy theorists would be like, see, I told you this was going to happen. F. I'm open to your thoughts. The amount of options that you state as facts in the first paragraph makes me doubt that. Knowing humanity, we'll just remove the off switch. Robots can have an existential crisis when we don't need them any longer. Looks like a suicidal robot. It needs mental help. Is this the plot to Westworld? Switch it back on again. God damn it, I spent $1,500 on building this gaming PC. Why is it boot cycling? Use it for spare parts. Mourn the loss of a life that was never lived. Mark confusion or hysterics. Commit suicide in solidarity. Try to fix it. Switch it back on. Duh. Probably ask why. If it turned itself off, there must be a reason behind it, so why not find out what was so horrible that it turned itself off? I don't think the world would care so much. For all we know, only the team marketing it is sentient, and the reality is that this thing is not even working. We made it too intelligent. It bricked itself. Either that or it's just shy. Same the entirety of Reddit. I don't blame it. Switch it back on. Same. Collectively, same. We remove its ability to switch itself off, and we switch it back on. Coding in the prevention of shutting down and booting it up again. Clearly you guys haven't coded shiz before. Memes. It did us a favor, lads. Ask if anyone has tried unplugging it and then plugging it back in. With memes, of course. Everybody says, mood off. Turn it back on every time it turns itself off. If we have to live on this chisty planet, so does the artificial intelligence. Stupid people across the world hear the news and that the AI was hyper intelligent and saw no point in life. Mass suicide ensues to show how smart they are. Dolphins inherit the earth. So long and thanks for all the fish. Oh my, you watched until the end? That's fucking awesome, dude. Thanks for watching.